Hello, and welcome back to the NoScore Review Show. I am your host, Nick Green, and this is actually, I guess, officially the very first 2023 movie review for the NoScore Review Show. Skinamarink technically came out last year, and then the year in review was its own thing. So this is the first official review, which is pretty exciting. For this review, I have Jake Sturkenboom returning to the show. Welcome back, Jake.
I'm here. I'm
You're
actually here. I don't just watch Marvel movies, okay? I
You don't just watch Marvel stuff.
I watch stuff
in your
other than
defense,
Marvel.
you were supposed to be here for the 2022 review.
I know, and then I completely lost my voice.
You,
Which
that was only
the one
slightly necessary.
That was the one I wanted to be on too.
You know what? Well, yeah, you kept bugging me about it. It's like, hey, when are we gonna do it?
Dude, I want to talk about the best of the year. Anyways, you guys kind of covered what I would have said anyways. So
yeah,
it's all good. But you know what? Forward momentum. We're here in 2023.
We're here.
Good to go.
Yep. And we're here to talk about Missing, the first film of 2023 that we have we both, is it both of our first 2023, or have you seen something else?
It is my first. Yeah, it's my first.
Oh my God, you never forget your first.
I know. And you know what? Missing was a good way to ring in the new year.
Absolutely. Yeah, it was a very great start, I would say.
Yeah.
It is the spiritual sequel.
I think the way to put it is like, say, do you think it would be good to call it like an anthology series now?
I guess so. So it's following the film Searching.
Yeah.
From God damn it, when did that come out?
2018.
2018. Thank you so much. It's following that film. What's his name again?
Is it
John Cho?
John Cho, yeah.
Yeah, starring John Cho. I really enjoyed Searching.
Which is
like zero
low
expectations. Like I had no idea what it was going to be like.
Yeah,
I had heard like a few positive reviews saying it was good, but I loved it. I thought it was great.
That Searching or Missing?
Well, I mean, technically both, but
okay.
Searching it, like I absolutely adored. So I actually was a little skeptical, kind of touching on our expectations now. We're kind of all over the place. This little section, just to kind of stand to the side, this will be no spoilers.
We're going no spoilers right now.
No spoilers for the beginning
of
this review. Yeah, and then once we get into like highlights and lowlights and stuff, then we can get into the nitty gritty.
Understood.
So yeah, on expectations, I was a little skeptical on Missing, just because I wasn't sure. I thought they executed that medium of I guess it's a genre, the screen life genre that they have kind of coined with this film series now. I think it was kind of loosely introduced in that horror film Unfriended, which I think came out in like 2017 or something, a couple years before Searching.
Yeah.
But it wasn't done nearly as well, I had heard. And then Searching came around and did it like exceptionally well.
Easily the best of the genre at its time.
Totally, yeah.
Even now still.
Yeah, I would say so, for sure. So I was pleasantly surprised by that medium, but I wasn't sure how much legs it had. Like, I don't know how much you can like reinvent the wheel type thing with that whole thing, and how much you can build off of it. But speaking of being pleasantly surprised, I was with Missing. I think they did a great job at elevating that medium. They introduced some new kind of concepts, and they kind of were able to get a bit looser with the rules, I guess, they put in place. Like there's a few more like stylized moments in the movie where they aren't like as strict when they're adhering to the medium, whereas like Searching, I think, was very much just what you see is what you get on the like laptop screen.
Yeah.
I think they did a couple sequences in the first one. This is now spoilers for searching, where they do like security cam footage, and I think he like takes his phone camera, or no, he takes security cameras and he sets them up in
Yes.
someone's house, to try and confront them about something. And then there's also like news footage and stuff too,
Yeah.
interspersed. Um, but this one gets a little looser, where like while the characters are explaining like a navigation route, for example, of like the missing persons, like where they were visiting places and stuff, it kind of like goes into this like bird's eye view type drone shot of like throughout the city, kind of following some streets.
Yep.
So they get a bit more creative in that sense.
Wouldn't
um Go
wouldn't that
ahead.
be wasn't that like Google Earth kind of thing though?
Yeah, I wasn't, maybe it's just my interpretation of it. I guess you could make that argument of like it
Yeah.
is just like in Google Earth, but it's like kind of sped up, because like I don't think you can do that type of thing like normally in Google Earth, where you're like basically flying through
Yeah.
the city and stuff, right? Like you'd have to like point and click to get yourself along.
Okay.
So maybe they took some liberties to get the point across, maybe, but
Yeah.
it's still very much within that same medium. Um, and they do kind of break it up a little bit too, and it gets a little bit meta too. With they basically make this in-universe like show. What do you remember what the show was called?
It was like in something it's like it's like infaction or something like that.
Oh, Unfaction.
It's I swear it starts with like an in in fact
Yeah, I
something
don't
like
remember.
that.
Yeah, but it's basically this in-universe show where it's this dramatic retelling of the events of Searching.
Yeah.
Uh,
But it
so
doesn't entirely spoil the movie. It's just the missing of Margot.
no, yeah, it
I
takes like a few of the events that are in like the last act
Yeah.
of, well, and it kind of reveals um the I don't know. It shows the reveal basically of Searching, but if you haven't seen it, you don't really have any context.
Yes.
It just comes across as a straightforward like um, dramatic retelling of a news story, basically.
Yeah.
Um, so I really appreciated the uh, things they were able to incorporate and build off of, and they didn't just like um, stick to the same thing they did in the
Yeah.
first one, which is really good. Which is what I guess a sequel should do. This is technically a sequel, an
Yeah.
anthological sequel. Um, but yeah, I really enjoyed it. I was pleasantly surprised. Um, I think they could probably still. I feel like they could maybe do one more of these before it started to get old, potentially. I think it also depends on like, because the cast was so strong as well. I think
That
that's
too.
part of what really made this sellable. Um, because if it was like I said it in my letterbox review, I think if you had any less uh like talent in the film, then it wouldn't have felt as compelling. Um, but yeah, I really enjoyed it.
You
Jake,
know,
do you want to add anything before
yeah,
we get
you know,
into
I have to
spoilers?
agree. I went in with really low expectations considering how much I love Searching.
Hmm.
Just because like I feel like Searching really set the bar for that for that style. And seeing that they were gonna make another one, I was like, okay, this is a bit iffy. Like I
Hmm.
felt like don't mess with this. Like you guys
Yeah,
nailed it.
yeah,
But I mean, if there's always gonna be a sequel.
yeah. That
So
certainly feels like it nowadays.
but yeah, no, I went in low expectations, but I did want to see it. I was excited that there was another one of these.
Mm,
A whole nother story. I want to see what they did different. I think they pretty much nailed it. It's good for the genre. Like I mean, it's not like cinematic masterpiece, but I will sit down and shut my brain off and try to guess what the next thing is going to happen. And
hmm.
to be fair, I was wrong a lot of the time.
Hmm. Or you were right, but not at the like precise moment, right?
Well, I'll get into that when we get to the cons, but if we're talking about, like, the grand scheme, like,
Okay.
I'd say the big reveals, like,
Totally.
the big reveals, I was completely thrown off. I was like,
Mhm.
"Okay, no, you got me."
Yeah,
But yeah, we'll get into it later with, into the whole, like, predictability thing of
sure.
it, but overall, I had a great time. Great way to open up 2023. January is usually the bad month for movies considering we just get out of award season, but
Yeah.
I'm satisfied so far.
Mhm. I would have to agree. So did you get to see Searching on the big screen?
No, I watched it
Watched it
when
at
it came
home?
to Netflix.
Yeah, okay. I did the same thing. I think I
Yeah.
watched it over the pandemic. Um, what was I gonna say? Oh, well, leaning into that, we got to see this together on the big
Yes.
screen. Um,
In
and
the not so greatest theater ever. But
Jake
what
doesn't like the theater we went to
we
say the
won't talk
least.
about we're not gonna get into that. I can do another no score review because I give it no score.
I feel
That's
like yeah, yeah, in the worst way possible, you give it no score. Um,
um no,
yeah,
we did see it together and
yeah. I don't think it's necessary. I do try to just go see as many films as possible in the theater, just
me too.
because I enjoy going to the movie theater.
Yeah.
But like, if you're trying to like pinch pennies or trying to like judge what to go see for the theater experience, it's not like, obviously it doesn't reach the levels of like Avatar, right?
Yeah.
um so I don't think it's necessary. I will say it is a unique experience getting to have, I talked with you about this before the show, Jake, of like getting the full like laptop screen, we'll say,
Yeah.
it like blown up on a huge wall in front of you, so you it's a little easier to pick out some things,
Yeah.
which is nice. But otherwise, I don't think it's that necessary. Plus, I would say it's almost. I mean, it largely depends on your crowd, but more often than not, I would say it's like inferior in a theater if you have a talkative crowd, because the quiet moments are like
Yeah,
dead silent, so you can
that's the
hear a
thing you
pin drop.
mentioned.
It can
Yeah,
be like
there's no,
real
like
bad.
there's no, like, little buzzing or anything
Yeah,
in the
there's no
movie.
like
It's
room
dead
tone, and there's no
dead
like ambient
audio.
score.
Yeah. That's
So yeah, it's a little weird because like anytime those moments would happen on screen, I think I would probably be holding my breath because I'm
yeah.
like, I don't want to breathe too loud. I want to hear what's
I
going
don't
on.
wanna take a bite of popcorn. It's just a big crunch, like just
Yeah.
spoilers for the theater. The guy rattling some ice
Oh
in his
God,
drink.
yeah. I like one of the most emotional parts too. That was
Yeah.
ridiculous.
So funny, but I think the experience would be more authentic watching it through a computer screen
Totally, yeah.
in the dark. It's a thrill. You're supposed to be locked right in to this
Hmm.
computer screen, and yeah, no, I think watching it at home is probably the better option, if anything.
Yeah. I also talking a bit about the genre. Like some people are classifying this as a horror film. I would definitely not at all. It's like a mystery thriller. It's like
It
got some intense moments
as
specifically
yeah,
towards the end.
as someone who's like I'm a big scaredy cat. I don't really see horror movies
Yeah.
in theaters. There were times when the tension was so high, and I was like, okay, I think something is about to happen.
Yeah.
There's no I don't know if this counts as a spoiler, no jump scares or anything like that,
Yeah.
but there's moments where there's going to be tension and there's going to be a reveal,
Hmm.
but like you feel that as it happens. And
Yeah.
yeah, we'll get into it when we talk spoilers, but yeah, there's certain points where it's like what is going to happen? I'm really like I'm scared right now.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I would say like if you're hearing it being coined as a horror movie, like, and it also boils down to preference for sure, as to what level of scared you can get in films. But because like I'm a big horror movie buff, so I would probably have not as objective an opinion, maybe, but I would totally coin this as a thriller mystery and not really in
Yeah.
the horror realm. But yeah, like you said, Jake, there's a I would say two big moments in the film where it
Yeah.
gets really intense and you don't know what's going to happen. So that's also what lends into the stress of the
Yeah.
moments.
Definitely
Um,
not a horror.
yeah. So, yeah, I think that kind of covers our overall thoughts for the most part.
Yeah.
So, I think we're going to dive into spoiler territory now.
Spoiler
So,
territory.
yeah, if you want to avoid spoilers for this film, then
Go
pause the
watch the movie
video,
right now.
come back. And or if you don't care about spoilers, then stick around because this is where the spoiler warning is going up. So spoilers from here on out. Pause, click away if you don't want any more info. Jake,
Yes.
let's get into highlights and lowlights of the film.
Highlights and lowlights. Let's do it. You want me to start with the highlight?
Sure, yeah. Start wherever
Um,
you want.
I'm gonna say the misdirection. I love the misdirection of this. I feel like this did better misdirection than searching.
I would say so, yeah.
Because like those searching, it did do well with keeping me guessing and me being wrong ultimately. It's this one was like this hits you with a straight up 90-degree turn,
Hmm.
and it's like, okay, no, this is actually happening.
Yeah.
Oh wait, I can spoil. Yeah, no, Kevin's not trying to. Kevin's on a vacation with not her mom, and
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, this is completely different. Um, what else? Oh yeah, the dad's alive. Oh, what the what?
Yeah. So I would say looking comparing them to comparing searching and missing together, missing or god damn it, searching is I might do that more
Yeah.
to be fair. Uh missing does way more like all like a bunch more misdirects whereas searching the first one you're kind of just going into the unknown. It's
Yeah.
like daughter is missing, trying to figure out where she went. Um and then you kind of get two, I would say. Well, like one misdirect and then one reveal.
Yeah.
So like it goes where he thinks spoilers for searching as well, I guess. He thinks his brother might have done it.
Yeah.
And then you get that misdirect where it's not him. But then you get that reveal later on of the cop being the one
Yes.
who did it or like
Yeah.
helped cover it up basically. Whereas this one, you're not really going into the unknown from the beginning. It's like pretty quickly that June like accuses the boyfriend, her
Yes.
mom's boyfriend,
Kevin.
and then you're kind of on that ride up until like the first uh, misdirect reveal, I guess, which
Yes.
I guess would be um, well,
The
they kind of do a misdirect where, like, she's accusing him for the longest time, and then it's like, "Oh, no, he seems genuine," right?
yeah.
Where, like, he proposes to her on the bridge, and then you go a hard left turn again where they get abducted, and then it's like,
Yeah.
"Okay, well, then what the hell happened to them," right? Um,
It's just
there and then there's way more after that too, like, you find out, what even happens after the abduction?
um
You oh, man.
you see,
'Cause
we're already having to think about this. Like the all the stuff that happens about this is it happens at like a million miles an hour,
yeah.
and you're trying to think about so much. Um, that Kevin went to this church thing. Why was he going to
Oh,
this
yeah.
church thing?
Mhm.
Um, and okay, we know
That
Church
that plays
Jimmy
it
now.
partly into oh, he's clean. He's trying to do better. He's
Yeah,
that, like, good misdirect. And then, yeah, a lot of the setup and payoff is very well done, like, from the very beginning of the film with that home video, right? And the
yeah.
clipping at the end of the clip, right? The
Oh yeah,
movie clip.
yeah. Oh, I love that.
Um Yeah, but there's just countless misdirects and it's taking you like all over the place where with wherever it might be. Um the lawyer reveal too. Like the
Oh
lawyer reveal is where I was like, okay, I can see where this is going now. It felt
yeah,
very evocative of the first film. It's like, oh, the person who is helping the protagonist the whole time is one of the people trying to cover it up. And
oh yeah.
that's true to an extent, but then it like flips it on its head yet again where she's actually ended up getting murdered. So then it's
Hmm.
like, okay, then what's going on here, right? that scene in particular is probably one of my highlights, because it first of all, it's one of those big moments where there's like high tension, where she
Yeah.
has the watch camera on, and it's like, oh man, like this is gonna get real
It's yeah, no,
dangerous.
I thought something was gonna happen,
Yeah,
like, I knew that there was that side room when she went in, and I was like,
yeah,
"Oh." Definitely thought, like, someone was gonna come crashing through that door there. It turned out to be a
yeah.
janitor. I was like, "Oh." I was stressful.
Yeah, man. Or like I thought there was gonna be like a silhouette of someone standing in the corner waiting for her.
Oh, dude. No, like I'm even freaking out about it now. I was like, "Oh,
Yeah,
stressful."
it was very stressful, but it was a very well done um misdirect, because you find out she's dead, and then it's
Yep.
like, oh, it is going to be Kevin that's involved in this somehow, and then you get the big reveal at the end of her dad being alive.
Just, like, I remember seeing in the trailer that one clip that's like, "Oh, someone's here," like, someone's walking up on the thing,
Oh
and
yeah.
I was trying to think, like,
Well,
who
and you
could
see the dragging away scene too, where someone's dragging her away from her laptop.
that I saw that the day of, and I'd never seen that clip before, so I was like, "What?" See, man, I gotta stop watching trailers. Anyways, I digress.
Yeah.
Uh, I thought that it was gonna be the watch kid,
That
the guy who
showed
kept
up
on
towards the end.
who sh yeah, who showed up at the end, yeah.
Oh,
Somehow, some
okay.
way. I don't know. That's just me running scenarios through my
Like you
mind.
thought it was going to be the watch kid who was involved somehow, or you just thought that was who was showing up towards the end.
Showing up to like, I was kinda thinking they're gonna try to misdirect us a lot in the trailer too, so there's gonna be like, "Okay, someone's coming here." So I thought it was gonna be like one of her friends or something, not like a ominous figure
Hmm.
of some sorts. So I'm kinda hearing that, like, the church Jimmy guy is coming. It made total sense. Didn't know that it was gonna be her dad.
Hmm.
Caught me off guard. I didn't guess that.
Yeah.
So,
There's also the misdirect of uh her mom potentially just like being a completely different person and trying to like drop off the grid for some reason, right?
yeah, so maybe that was, like yeah, that maybe that's something that we kinda needed more explanation on. So wanted to she was trying to get away or, like
Well, I think the overall story of it was, I think you have to have picked up on this, is like,
let's go together on this.
okay,
Kevin is in cahoots with the dad.
yes.
This is true. The
Yeah,
dad is
Kevin
the
and
Uber
the
driver.
dad met in prison.
Yes.
Kevin finds out about the dad's history, and having
Yes.
his daughter taken away from him because he was a drug dealer, drug user, both.
Uh, Domestic abuser,
Well,
drug
that too.
possession,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
all
That's
that.
the big thing. They took
Yes.
the daughter away because of domestic abuse.
Yeah.
Um, so he went away for prison, uh, or he went away to prison for drug possession because that was the longer sentence his mom found out rather than
Yes.
domestic abuse.
Yeah.
Um, and then she got in contact with the lawyer friend who helped her basically cover up her past so that
Yes.
June didn't have any knowledge of this happening, and was made to believe that her dad died of a brain tumor, I think, or brain cancer or something.
Something like that, yes.
Yeah. Um, so yeah, she got her lawyer's help with covering up her past, and then I guess a contingency plan, or the what was it? I guess I think it was the dad contacting the mom and the lawyer both,
Yes.
or maybe just the lawyer
I
saying
think it was just the lawyer.
saying she, or that he knows about the past and everything, and to keep her mouth shut
Like, you
about
saw in
her
the,
trying to kidnap, or
yeah,
him trying to kidnap the mom.
in the office scene, did you notice all those pictures on the desk that was like, if anything happens, she dies or whatever? and all
That's
that
what
stuff.
set me off about that whole scene was like, "Oh shit, that like, this
Like,
is gonna
she
get bad."
dies, and I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, so we're just killing people now.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, no, so that was like, okay, this is kinda real now.
Yeah, shit's getting real, exactly.
Shit's shit is getting real. Yeah, no, I think overall these misdirects and these kinda reveals, I was so happy with.
Yeah, me too.
So happy
I'm
with.
trying to actually rack my brain. I would say maybe that is I guess it's not a like negative necessarily. It's just that like it's hard to recollect after one viewing for me of everything that went on in the film
Yeah,
because of like the pacing of it. It was very fast
that's
and there were a lot of misdirects. So it
that
was
was gonna
like,
be one of my, lowlights if we wanna
oh,
get
okay.
into it.
Sure, yeah,
But
yeah.
it was like it was just you get one of everything with the pacing of this movie. Like the first little bit, is kind of slow. You need to introduce everybody, kind of establish what's happening. Yeah, you've
Right.
seen the
Yeah.
trailer, you kind of know what's about to happen. But
Hmm.
then I think the second act is the best
Yeah,
because
of course.
because you get a perfect kind of walkthrough of all this stuff that she's trying to do. I'm going to
Hmm.
log into this. I'm going to try to do this. I know this from this.
Yeah.
And then it's like, okay, that's awesome. But then that last little bit, we're going to move at like the speed of light to get this movie finished.
Right.
And I was like, oh, like everything from the dad showing up to the finish was just so fast. It
Right.
was like, we're going to get this done so quickly. And then
Hmm.
like, question for you. What did you think of the transition? So if you haven't seen the movie and you're not trying to be spoiled. The ending when her and her mom get saved from the police from her dad or whatever, it then it just changes
Goes to
into
the
the episode of the
so
same show.
I at first I was totally like, "Oh, we're just going normal Hollywood now. Okay." Which I was like on board for, but then they do
Yeah,
that pullback and it's the episode. I'm like, "Oh, that's
I like.
fun."
I was kind of like, I would have liked to see some kind of like explanations, like wrap it up nicely, but I guess they kind of did that, but I it's the same thing I had with Fall. Fall
Mm, okay.
finished so fast and I was just like everything happened so fast. So
Mhm.
I'd say that that's a little late for me. Maybe just how inconsistent the pacing was.
Yeah, it was like they left early from the kind of resolution of the I mean, I would personally say like you can figure it out afterwards, right?
Yes.
Especially with that the dramatic retelling in the TV show format of like police show up, they break down the door, they're saved.
Yes.
Um there was a bit of uh almost disbelief maybe of like the mom surviving because like you go
From
from her like getting shot
yeah,
and then uh like being almost half dead on the floor to like her just
yeah,
responding to messages again basically
yeah,
insinuating she's completely healed and fine now, right?
yeah,
um so yeah, I can see that the pacing for sure was a little um inconsistent maybe.
yeah.
um I don't think it was awful, uh, and I think the overall, narrative justified not maybe not justified, but, like, uh, what's the word? It it was a good enough story that the pacing didn't bother me that much.
Here's what I'll say about this. I think they focused the parts where they did it well, they focused on the good parts. If that
Right,
doesn't really make sense. They they focused all of the content of this movie at the right parts. Like
right.
using the internet to kind of solve these mysteries.
Yeah,
And then we get to that point where it's all this security camera footage and it's like, okay,
mhm.
let's wrap this up.
Yeah, it's
We're
almost
solid.
like they had, like, when they were making the story, it was like, "Okay, how do we get to this point?" Uh to get the investigation started, right?
Yeah.
And then once we've wrapped up all the whole investigation to where we want it to be, uh, after that, how do we wrap the movie up, basically, right?
Exactly.
How do we get into this, and then how do we wrap this up after we
Yeah.
finished? So I still think it was quite well done.
Yeah.
The medium of it all is very cool. It's a very unique way to tell a story rather.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know how. I feel like we could probably be seeing at least one more of these.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's gonna be we're gonna see more of it. You just need to get more creative with it. If they're still fooling me, all good, but, when it gets to
totally.
that point where it's totally kind of like you don't really know what to do next,
Hmm.
I don't know. Who knows? Maybe there's new social media or new kinds of
Totally. Yeah.
applications that come out since. Just
Oh,
maybe move with the
that
times.
that just made me think of a low light, but this is entirely personal preference. So
Yeah.
they keep it up to date with like social media and stuff and trends. But when that TikTok video came on and the text to speech lady was like talking, I was like, dude, I can't. I don't. I want to leave the theater right
I know,
now.
I liked it. I liked it, like, because that's what social media is. It's like
Totally,
they have
totally.
that AI voice talking. Here's the
I just
updates
hate
of
it.
the
I hate
missing
it so
person.
much.
I thought that was I think it's accurate. That's
It's accurate,
yeah.
absolutely. It's just my, like, personal preference. I'm like, "Oh, I don't wanna listen to this right now."
You
That's
know
probably
what?
one of my biggest gripes.
Maybe a suggestion. Do it on Windows. You've done everything
Yeah,
with
that would
Mac.
I mean,
Why
they
not
do have in both movies, they've had the cross, uh, I don't know what the word they use both platforms,
yeah,
especially because, like, when they're establishing earlier stuff,
yeah.
like, when the mom is making that folder
Yes,
for,
when they
her
trim the
daughter,
yes, that's
that's, like, all in Windows.
but
Right.
then once again, argument, I think Macs are more, like, visually appealing to look at,
Yeah,
and their
probably.
kind of ecosystem is better, like, iMessage, being able
There's
to
also
react.
sound effects for, like, a lot more
Yes, yeah.
UI stuff, whereas Windows, there's there's nothing.
Uh, but once again, we don't wanna see recycled stuff. Maybe do it on the Mac.
Yep.
After seeing that, I don't know. I'm on
Mhm.
Windows right now. Maybe this could work.
Maybe. Yep. Um, yeah, I think it's probably just a little easier on the eyes,
Yeah.
potentially. What else? Any other kinda notes at all? I touched
If
on it kinda briefly in our general thoughts. The cast was great. I think,
yes.
Storm Reed was a fantastic lead.
Oh, yes.
I think she was really good. She's
100%.
always been good in everything I've watched her in.
Yeah.
So,
Um,
um
one thing I would have said for lowlights, like I said, I was gonna mention about this whole predictability thing.
oh, yeah, yeah, let's touch on that.
These big twists, they got me, but there were certain points where I was like, "Why isn't she doing this?" And then she
Mhm.
ends up doing it. So, for example, when she typed in her mom's password, June with the 3,
Right.
she's been
Junebug.
calling her Junebug
Yeah.
the entire movie at this point. So why isn't she I personally thought she was gonna type in Junebug, and then an hour later in the movie, she types in
She ends up
Junebug,
yeah.
and it works. Um, I remember at the end of the movie, she's yelling through the camera to her laptop, "Hey, is
Mhm.
anyone there? Is anyone there?" One line later, "Do you have your phone?" "No, I left it at home." And at the beginning of the movie, she's saying, "Hey Siri, hey Siri, hey Siri."
Mhm.
That plants that in your mind.
Yeah.
So, my phone just triggered my "Hey Siri." Anyways,
It's
real
good you have that
life
enabled in case you get kidnapped.
life imitates art. Anyways, the entire time I was like, "Why isn't she saying that phrase to get her
Mhm.
phone to go off to say 911 or whatever?"
Right.
Um, yeah, no, just, like, things that would make you
I
just simple
think
stuff like that.
I think in both of those cases, I think there's a strong enough argument, maybe at least on my end, of, like, the, uh the first instance, the Junebug one, where it's
Yes.
like, she's a teenager. She's I don't know, she was 18 or something. She's younger,
Yep.
developing brain, right? And like the adrenaline kicking in of like trying to find a family member, right? A loved one. So it's like maybe you're not getting quite there immediately.
I I don't think it goes that deep though. Uh,
Maybe I feel like I want personally, I try to give the benefit of the doubt when it comes to like these like thriller type films or like horror
Sure.
films because it's like these are very specific scenarios where it's like it's hard, it's
Yeah.
easy to like critique passively. But like if you're in that situation, you don't
Yeah, no,
quite know
I
what
haven't
you're
I haven't had an abusive father trying to murder me, so
exactly.
that's a start.
Well, and thank God for that.
Yeah.
um
I'm lucky enough to be here on a review show to talk about it.
exactly. Yeah. Count your blessings, Jake.
But
Um
yeah, I think notes wise, that's pretty much it for me. Like misdirection, awesome predictability in these kinds of movies where it's going to be a mystery thriller where you're trying to put together what's happening. You
mhm,
need to kind of have that on lockdown, and maybe that's something that you find out through test screenings
mhm.
or anything like that. Yeah,
Yep. I personally, I'm one of the like viewers who, especially in like mystery movies, I just let it wash over me. I'm rarely ever like actively trying to piece together what's going on in the film. I'm just there to let them like feed me clues and then uh like have that big reveal at the end or
yeah,
whatever.
yeah,
So
yeah.
I like personally don't have as much qualm with that stuff, but I would say uh it's totally like justifiable to have like your plot points on lockdown for these types of films because
Yeah,
for the viewers like yourself who are more active and like will pay like remember and pick up on things way more,
yeah,
then obviously you want to have that stuff figured out right and have
of
answers.
course.
So yeah.
Yeah.
What else? I think that kind of covers our highlights and lowlights. We kind of touched on viewing experience. I would say, uh, would you recommend this to someone?
I tell
And
you what,
who
I
would you
think it's a
recommend
good
it to?
time. Like if this is something that I see on Netflix and I'm just trying to watch with a girlfriend at like on a random Friday night, I think
Mhm.
it's amazing for that. I like it's shut your no, not really shut your brain off, but it's something that you
Go along for the ride.
just go along for the ride. It's gonna be intense. It's gonna make you think.
Hmm.
It's like I don't
And
know.
it's compelling enough with the like family dynamic. I think they
Yeah,
nailed that too, which was great. Uh, it's compelling enough, it's emotional enough that you're invested in these characters, and it's a unique medium. It's
exactly.
a refreshing take on filmmaking and storytelling. So
Most definitely.
absolutely watch it as soon as it comes to streaming. Um,
Not needed to not a requirement to rush to the theater for it.
no, I would say maybe since like you said earlier in the show, it's January, there's not a ton of strong stuff. If you've already seen like Avatar and Black Panther and all this stuff that's still showing from the end of last year and you want to see something new,
Yep.
I would say Missing's probably your strongest bet.
We'll
Um,
we'll see.
we'll see.
There's other ones that I'm intentionally missing, but I think with what we've gotten here,
Yeah.
it's a safe bet.
This is also based off this is the only
One,
film I've seen
the
in
only
the month
movie
in
we've seen.
theaters.
Yeah,
This is more so just from what I've heard of like Megan and Plane. Uh I don't know if there was anything else really new stuff anyway.
yeah.
But like of those three, from what I've heard, I would say Missing's probably the best. So take that for what you will.
Pinch of salt.
Pinch of salt, exactly. Jake, where can the
Yes.
people find you?
Letterboxd.com/Sturkenboom. That's STURKENBOOM as in explosion.
Nice.
I'm
Boom.
gonna be trying to watch as many 2023 releases as possible this year.
Hmm. Hmm.
In 2022, I managed to squeak in 62 films, and I plan
Nice.
to do more this year. I'm always trying to expand my knowledge of a film more. So
Yes, sir.
yeah, I've been catching up on the Mission Impossible series. I've started the Indiana Jones series. I don't even know what else I need to watch to understand other movies this year. It's gonna be craziness.
It's not your first time with the indie films, though, right?
No, no, I've seen
Just
all
a
of them.
rewatch. Nice.
Unfortunately, the
Are
fourth.
you watching? So, do you consider it a trilogy, or do you consider it a quadrilogy?
I
That's the better
I'm
question.
I'm only gonna watch the trilogy.
Nice.
I don't think I can watch that fourth one again.
It'll be a bigger time jump for us, trilogy enthusiasts between
Yeah.
Last Crusade and uh,
Yeah.
what's the new one called? Dial of Destiny, I think.
Dial of Destiny,
Yeah,
the
that should be
the
interesting.
follow up to the masterpiece that is
Kingdom
is it
of the
Kingdom of
Crystal
the Crystal
Skull.
Skull?
Yeah. Um,
Oh my.
cool. And since you didn't get to be on the 2022 in review
Oh,
show,
you're gonna give me
I'll uh,
this?
I'll let your recommendations be. So we covered 3 films each when we
Yes.
did it. So just like real quick, if you like want to give short blurbs on any of them or feel the need to, you can. But
Okay,
3 films from 2022 that you would recommend.
I'm gonna try to say ones that people didn't say on the show.
Okay.
Number one, I'm gonna have to say, did anyone say The Fablemans?
Nope.
I think The Fablemans was amazing. Had a great time with that. Another one. This is a big one here. On Amazon Prime Video, this is a documentary. Good
Mm,
Night Oppie. It is about the
okay.
Mars rover. It is very emotional. I had such a great time. The visual effects were so good. I think this should be up. Like, I don't even know if it made the Oscar shortlist, but I know that it won like a Critics' Choice somewhere. But I thought Good Night Oppie was so good. If you love that kind of documentary, archival footage of like inside the NASA rooms and like interviews with these people who were like student interns at the time when
Hmm.
Opportunity was shot to the moon, great
To
time.
Mars specifically.
To Mars, to the moon. Why did I say moon?
I don't know.
I'm a dingus.
Space. All the same.
um, and then, ooh, I am gonna have to say, okay, this one is only I only know that it's available on like YouTube rental right now, but it's Leonore Will Never Die. This is a
Okay.
movie about a it's a Filipino movie, so foreign language. It's about a former screenwriter who is failing to pay bills and such, falls into a coma, but her coma is her own movie. So she knows the
Whoa.
script. It's a wonderful time. It's
Hmm.
and by the time you get to the end, it's kind of like I've never seen anything like it before, and it's very funny. It has like it's just so lighthearted and fun. So
Nice.
that's another one that I will put up there. But yeah, if we're talking top three, it was just a quick top three of everything everywhere, Top Gun and the Batman.
Nice. No one said Top Gun Maverick, so that
No
also
one
could have
said
been on your
Top
list. Yeah.
Gun. Oh man, that's just a blockbuster, just amazingness. I'm a
Yeah.
big Tom Cruise guy now. I'm loving Mission Impossible this go around. It's
Yeah.
the guy's a star.
He is a star. Cool.
Alrighty.
Uh, well, there's Jake's recommendations for last year, so
Thank
check
you
them
for giving
out.
me the corner there.
Of course. And yeah, you can find me anywhere on the socials at NoScore or at NoScore Reviews. It's on Letterboxd, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and you can keep it locked here for wherever you have watched or listened to this episode of the NoScore Review Show. I am also going to try and see as many 2023 movies as possible. And I'm going to try to up the volume of reviews as well. We'll see. It depends. So don't take my word for it yet, but we'll see. Optimism going forward for the year. And what else? Oh, if you like Let's Play, video game Let's Play content, you can go check out my YouTube channel at No Score Plays. I've been doing a few indie games during the month of January, and I've been re uploading my first 2 Let's Play series that I originally premiered on my main channel at No Score. And I've also got Let's Play coming up for the Dead Space remake. So if you are interested in spooky games, that's where you can check that out.
Ring the bell for that. You got to ring the bell for
You
that,
gotta ring the
right?
bell for that notification.
Of course.
I don't know when this will go up, depending on when I release this episode, but I also had a episode come out for playing the Forspoken demo. That's another a PlayStation first party game that came out or is coming out soon in January, end of January. So go check that out if you want to see some gameplay of that. And yeah, I think that's about it. Jake, thank you again so much for joining me. this
Thank you for
episode.
having me. I want to be on more, but once again, I only want to be on if I know that I'm gonna be given that insight, that maximum info to the
Yeah.
people out there, right
Well,
there.
right there, right here, right here too. Yeah.
This show is responsible for viewers like you.
And this episode is sponsored by not there yet.
Not there yet.
Yes, thank you so much for joining me, Jake. I will try my darndest to have you on as much as possible, as
Of
much as your
course.
passion allows you to be on
Exactly.
for the various topics. And yeah, thank you at home so much for watching or listening to this episode of the NoScore Review Show. And we'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.
Bye.